We live in the era of the observed life. Right now, at this very second, billions of people are locked in a frantic, unspoken competition to prove they exist. We have turned our most intimate moments, the meals we eat, the people we love, the triumphs we achieve, and even the grief we endure, into a form of social currency. We have become a civilization of performers, perpetually glancing at the digital mirror to see if the world is still watching, still nodding, still clapping. We are connected by fiber optics, yet we have never been more psychologically fragmented because we no longer live our lives. We manage our brands, but amidst this deafening noise, there is a rare breed of individual that moves differently. You know them. They are the ones who don't announce their arrivals. They don't broadcast their victories. They don't seek a digital witness for their pain. There is something quietly unsettling yet deeply magnetic about a person who lives without needing to be seen. In a world screaming for attention, their silence isn't a void, it's a fortress. Today, we are dissecting the Stoic psychology of the unseen. We are uncovering why the most dangerous and disciplined minds in history chose the shadows over the spotlight, and why your desperate need to be liked is the very chain that keeps you weak. We are exploring the internal citadel, the power of the digital fast, and why in an age of oversharing, your privacy is your greatest power move. The internal citadel, guarding the gates of the soul. Stoic philosophy at its core is a philosophy of boundaries. It begins with the Enchiridion of Epictetus, which famously states that some things are up to us and some things are not. The only territory you truly own, the only land where you are the undisputed sovereign, is the space between your ears, your judgments, your intentions, and your reactions. The Stoics called this the internal citadel. Imagine this citadel as a high-walled fortress. Inside are your values, your peace of mind, and your character. Outside is the chaos of the world, the opinions of strangers, the volatility of the economy, and the shifting winds of fame. Every time you post a photo specifically to seek validation, every time you check in at an expensive location to prove your status, you are lowering the drawbridge. You are inviting 1,000 strangers to stomp through your halls, track mud on your carpets, and shout over your quiet thoughts. When you live for the like, you are handing the keys of your citadel to people who do not know you and do not care about you. You are making your internal state a hostage to a digital algorithm. Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome and the most powerful man of his era, understood this with terrifying clarity. He had every reason to seek the spotlight. Yet his greatest work, the Meditations, was never meant for an audience. It was a private journal of self-correction and psychological hygiene. He wrote to himself, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. The moment you start living for an audience, you stop living for yourself. You become a puppet, and the followers you think you lead are actually the ones pulling your strings." The man who does not post has realized that the only follower that matters is his own conscience. Attention as currency, the brutal economy of focus. We must discuss the brutal reality of the attention economy. The man who does not post is not hiding, he is economizing. He understands a truth that the average scroller ignores. Attention is the most valuable currency in the universe. It is the raw material of greatness. Everything you have ever achieved, every muscle you've built, every dollar you've earned, every skill you've mastered, is the direct result of where you chose to point your attention. If you spend 4, 5, or 6 hours a day managing your digital image, responding to comments, and consuming the highly curated, filtered lives of others, you are effectively bankrupting yourself. You have zero mental capital left to build your own empire. Epictetus once told his students, "If you wish to make progress, be content to be thought foolish or stupid regarding external things." The quiet man is perfectly content with you thinking he is doing nothing. He is content with being irrelevant in the digital sphere because he is too busy being essential in the physical one. While the world is chasing digital ghosts and debating over pixels, he is building a reality that doesn't need a filter to look impressive. He values substance over show. He eats his food for the nourishment of his cells, not for the aesthetic of his feed. He climbs the mountain for the expansion of his lungs and the testing of his legs, not for the summit selfie that proves he was there. To the Stoic, the experience is the reward. The post is just a leak of energy. The strategic power of the unknown. There is a profound strategic advantage in being unknown. In the ancient world, the concept of Lathe Biosas, live in obscurity, was a core tenet for many who sought peace. When you move in silence, your enemies cannot track you, your competitors cannot anticipate your next move, and the envious cannot find a target for their poison. But beyond strategy, there is a psychological transformation that occurs when you embrace the unseen. The Stoics practiced the art of doing good in secret. Seneca wrote that we should shine like the sun. The sun does not shine to be thanked. It shines because it is its nature to provide light. When you perform a virtuous act, whether it's a grueling workout, a charitable deed, or a massive business win, and you don't tell anyone, you retain 100% of the internal power generated by that act. The moment you leak your achievement to social media to get that quick hit of dopamine from a stranger's thumbs up, the internal pressure evaporates. You have traded your internal gold for digital lead. You have offloaded the pride of work for the cheap thrill of recognition. The man who doesn't post has mastered his impulses. He feels the same primal urge we all do, the urge to be admired, to be envied, to be validated. But he conquers that urge. He understands that privacy is a power. Move. It signals to the world that your self-worth is so high, your confidence so grounded, that you don't need a committee of strangers to verify your existence. Mastery of the digital ego and the end of envy. Social media is the ultimate incubator for the small self, the ego that craves comparison. It breeds pathonos, the ancient Greek word for envy, which the Stoics described as a disease of the soul. When you are constantly bombarded by the highlight reels of others, your brain naturally falls into the trap of comparison. You aren't comparing your life to their reality. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their final cut. By stepping back from the digital spotlight, you are performing a spiritual and psychological detox. You are choosing apatheia, the Stoic state of being free from destructive, reactive emotions. You no longer feel the pang of jealousy when a peer posts a new car, because you aren't looking. You no longer feel the need to one-up anyone, because you aren't playing the game. When you reach this level of maturity, your relationship with the world changes. You stop shouting to be heard. You stop virtue signaling. You start speaking only when your words are more powerful than your silence. This is why when the quiet man finally does speak, the world stops to listen. His presence has mass. His words have weight. They are grounded in years of private discipline and unseen growth. He is not a content creator. He is a man of character. The final rebellion, substance over show. The deepest form of rebellion left in our time is to live quietly, to move inward, to build a life so full of purpose, so rich in character, and so heavy with results that the idea of sharing, it feels like an insult to the experience itself. If you are constantly posting about how happy you are likely trying to convince yourself. If you are constantly posting about how stoic you are failing the first test of Stoicism, humility. The man who truly possesses these things doesn't need to prove them. The sun doesn't have to send out a press release to tell you it's hot. You feel the heat the moment it enters the sky. We have a generation of men who are building in public, but failing in private. They have thousands of followers, but no self-respect. They have high engagement, but low integrity. The Stoic path is the opposite. It is to be a secret king,